The next best thing for cons is cosplayers. Woohoo! What was your overall? First, we'll just do overall opinions for just cosplays in general, not necessarily picking any particulars. Besides too many Janes. What did you guys think of the cosplayers in general?
Costumes with still Jane heads on.
Oh my god. There were some amazing costumes, there were some really crappy costumes. I guess that
happens at all cons.
Yeah,
Talk
so
about the good costumes.
there were some really amazing costumes, but again, my nerdiness is so limited that I didn't know half of what these people were. That's the thing, though. Like, there would be some really amazing costumes to be like, I have no idea what that's from. 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 If they dressed up as, I am a Sesame Street cosplayer, and I didn't see anyone else dressed in Sesame Street cosplay except 3 other people, and I was like, yeah. But other than that, like, everyone else, I'm like, I don't know. There were these guys dressed up in, like, blue t-shirts and red hats, and I had no idea what the fuck they were from. Sorry to use foul language, but, like, I'm just like, okay, cool. No, I don't know. Like, there's just...
Possibly either Pokemon or a video game, probably.
I have no idea. I would have known Pokemon.
Or Team Fortress 2, probably.
I don't know.
That makes sense. Yeah, maybe Team Fortress.
There was so many people dressed up in things that I just didn't know what it was, that it's not fair for me to judge whether or not it was good or bad, because I don't know what the hell it's supposed to be.
That's very true. But from experience, just as a veteran to you, you're never going to watch or play any of the things that you see these people dressed up as, but as time goes on, you will learn what they're from, because someone else will go, oh, they're from this and they're from that. So next time you see a similar cosplay, I'm like, oh, I've seen better. Yeah. What about you?
Well, I understand what you're saying, because there, like last year in at New York Comic Con, there were these, I saw these people, and they had like the gray skin and the horns and the t-shirts, and then
Homestuck.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't know what the hell they were. I thought they were demons from some anime, and my niece introduced me to Homestuck, and I'm like noticing them left and right. I was like, oh my god, Gamzee! Oh my god, Carcat! Oh my god, it's you! Oh, sorry.
Yeah, someone's sleeping right there.
Nobody cares about Chris.
But besides that, I noticed a lot of great Marvel costumes. They had one of the events they had was the Marvel costume photo shoot, which I attended, and I dressed up as Magneto. But yeah, some of the things some of these people do with, like, as costumes, it's just great how they follow like the source material so closely. And some people actually recreated Iron Man armor, like almost just like in the movie. Some people like created like their Captain America costumes, and it looks so authentic, and you just want to go up to them and ask them, how'd you do this? I saw a couple like of mechas, like Transformers just walking around, and so there was a guy who did a dinosaur. We remember Ernie?
Was it the Masquerade?
Yeah, the Masquerade, like a big dinosaur skeleton.
From Jurassic Park.
Yeah, exactly. And he was just walking around, and it looked like it was actually moving. It was like, wow, okay, wow. Like I'm wearing my like costumes that I picked up online, and I modified here and there, and like, oh, okay, that looks good enough. And I'm like, oh my god, I am so overwhelmed.
Well, you've got the start. That's where it begins. And then practice and time, you'll work up to that. And usually a lot of those cosplayers, if you walk to them and go, what did you make that out of? They have no problem answering your questions.
I'm actually going to say this year it was actually surprising compared to last year. I saw very little, in certain respects, to steampunk.
Yeah.
Thinking about it, because last year I saw so much steampunk. I'm not really a big fan of steampunk a lot, because I always, at the other cons, I see so much of it, it gets a little overwhelming. And then like last year at Dragon Con, I remember there was a steampunk X-Men, steampunk princesses, steampunk this. It was really cool,
DC.
Yeah, they had, some of them, like, they did certain characters and they steampunked them. It was pretty cool, but this year I have to say, I did not see a lot of steampunk.
I did. They were all in this hotel.
Well, no. I was in this hotel a lot. I'm just saying.
You didn't see steampunk crossovers.
All right. No. Overall, the amount, even though there was still like maybe 400 people in Steampunk.
Yeah.
That's nothing compared to last year where there was like 4,000. I'm being exaggerating here, but for every one person this year that jumped Steampunk, there was at least 3 that did it last year.
Well, I guess because
And
last year it exploded. Steampunk was like the first year it really exploded.
Yeah, but that's not true. My friends have been doing Steampunk for 4 years, 5 years now. I've had friends who cosplay all the time at Icon and other cons, and they always do Steampunk. I have to say that even at Otakon, at Icon, other cons, you don't see it that much. It did explode, I would say, to an extent last year, but I think it was actually 2-3 years ago is where it really started to pick up a lot of steam.
I first heard about it probably
not really the best phrase
year.
to use, but
I probably heard about it last year because I was.
Said you're not a nerd.
No, but I'll tell you exactly how I heard about it though. I was watching New York Inc. on TLC, and they were having a steampunk like fashion show, and I was like, what the fuck is steampunk? Like, what the hell is that? And then she's like, oh, it's like Victorian goth with like medieval blah blah blah, however you describe steampunk. And then you saw the fashion show. I'm like, who wears this stuff? Like, I've never even heard of it until last year.
Well, no, I agree. There was a
lot less than last year.
I didn't realize, now that I look back and you mentioned it, yeah, there was not a lot on Steampunk. Yes, it did have I think it was working up to a big explosion last year. It's still there, but I think it might have calmed down a little
I'm
bit.
saying it was still there a lot. It's just compared to last year, there was like no steampunk.
Compared to last year. Yeah.
Also, everyone who I saw dressed as steampunk was over the age of 50. In my opinion, there was
actually the best steampunk we saw last 2 nights ago on Sunday night or last night. I remember we were watching the Masquerade and like all the awards.
Oh,
we
yeah,
actually did see the dinosaur won one of them. But there was a girl who actually was.
Yeah, hers
she
was
was like
awesome.
20 years old.
I know, but
she's probably younger than me. And she came up in a steampunk costume, and her costume actually had extendable wings.
Yeah.
Well, I think hers was also, was based off of something else as well. I don't think it was.
She had extendable wings that worked. They came
so
in and
cool.
out, and
it was just actually on her glove. She had the controller.
An app on her phone.
She had an app on her iPhone. Yep.
Yeah.
But I definitely there was a decline in steampunk from compared to previous cons. But like I said, I saw, there's because of Dragon Con and its themes, there's the ton of Marvel, ton of DC, Star Wars, Star Trek. You're gonna have
The fact that it's just a con and people can dress.
yeah, a lot of people will do the whole like. What me and the guys used to rant about was the whole Naruto thing. You just put one piece of merchandise on. Oh, I'm from that show. But luckily, yeah. Well, not really.
No, just by the headband, and they were like, "Yeah, I'm from Naruto." And you're like, "What character?" And they're like, "Oh, I'm another character from the town."
Yeah, that wears jeans and a t-shirt. But we've said with me, Chris, Tom, and Ernie said last year, it's more of an adult themed con, so it's not as bad. But
actually, I actually followed the Kaleidoscope track too, which is the kids track, like designated to little kids. And honestly, some of the little kid cosplay was the best I saw.
yeah.
I saw one of the best things I saw was a dad dressed as Batman and his like 12-year-old son dressed as Robin. I thought that was amazing. And then I saw this really cute kid. I don't know if you guys watched Phineas and Ferb, but he was wearing purple pants and a white shirt, and they dyed his hair green, and he went as Ferb, and he was carrying a Phineas doll.
That's awesome.
And I took a picture with him because I was dressed as Perry the Platypus, and it was so cute. I was like, I want to adopt you.
No, that's one thing is with Dragon Con, you got a lot of family cosplays because the parents are into it, so they dress up the kids as well. It's not like
A parent and
right. But when you go to like anime conventions and some of the other smaller ones, it's the kids that are into it.
You know what's actually really interesting this year, I'm going to say, compared to last year as well, I saw a lot more, I hate to say it, teeny boppers is the word I use, which is actually something I feel destroys a lot of the fun at Otakon and Dragon Con and at Icon stuff that I go to the other cons, because there's just too many preteens and teenagers that are just
oh my god.
Yeah, they act like assholes. They act really, really kiddie and
Uncontrolled.
Yeah, they need to have a leash on them. They don't. And this year, I saw a lot of them, but once again, because this is so geared to older people, they seemed to really be behaved, and I was very happy about that. I saw a lot of them, but they didn't annoy me like they get annoyed at the other cons. So I was actually pretty cool with it.
It's probably a lot of them are probably also raised in that mentality.
Yeah.
So because their parents are all into it. Like I said, it's an adult themed, but it's more like a family where you'll have the family group cosplays, all the whole family. When me and Chris went to the one at Old Rose, there was a couple of kids that were under the ages of 6 there, and they were having fun. They knew all the band members' names. They were up front dancing along, and one of them was dressed up. Yeah, every time they said damn or hell, they got corrected by the little kids. But there was one kid who kept coming up to me and Chris because when we were waiting online, I was dressed up and Chris still had his makeup on, and he'd be like, "Sir, is that real blood? Oh, that's a cool piece on your costume." And the little kid was dressed up as a pirate, and he was enjoying him. They were all enjoying themselves because that's how they're raised.
I love how like kids when they notice the costume, are like, "It's Batman" or "It's Joker."
Yeah.
No.
As Cookie Monster, I got taking pictures with a lot of kids. Like a lot of little kids came up to me and were like, "Can we get your picture, Cookie Monster?" Like,
Well, that's why I was going to move on to the next thing, since we're really, really harping on this. Is
I was actually gonna say I didn't cosplay at all this weekend, and I got complimented on both of my T-shirts.
yeah, let's not move on because I don't want to hear about that anymore.
I upset you like crazy.
All right.